everyone. Thank you so much for watching our video. I am Starling Brighter here with Linda Berry. We are going to be talking about part 2 of what we're calling right now vibrational unions. We did a part 1 to this. If you look back on our channel, you'll be able to see part 1. It's kind of going in a sequence. So this is part 2. And with that, I'd like to say hi, Linda. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Starling. How about you?
I'm doing great too. I'm excited to share this part 2. We have a little bit of a different format. Linda wrote up a great example of showing us what we were talking about. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into that.
And I'm calling this vibrational weavings, and I think you'll see why as we get into it. Now, the natal chart forms the base chart for everything we do. We've talked about that over and over. It's the foundation of the person's life. It is the first, really the only chart. And it is the primary originator of all of the families of vibrations. We're going to talk about the families in this video. The secondary charts, the vibrational charts, are all generated from the natal chart. They are generated by the angular distances between the planets in the natal chart. The distance between two planets in the natal chart often forms between up to 20 or 22 different aspects that angular distance is within orb of. I'll show you this, how this works. Using the orbs means that there are overlaps between aspects that are close to each other. Okay, here is from Sirius, the very beginning of the harmonic aspect grid showing the sun and the moon for Pope Francis. These are 22 aspects. The sun moon is within range of. And as you look through this, the bottom number in the harmonic aspect grid is in the listings in the Sirius chart. All right, this is the natal chart. So as you go through these, see this bottom number? That's decimal, but if you multiply it by 100, it's also the percentage. It shows how exact each aspect is. And the bigger the number, the more exact the aspect is. Those numbers go between 0 and 1.00. If it's 1.00, it means it's exact. All right. Now, when you look down through this list, you see that the strongest vibration for Pope Francis between his sun and his moon is in the 247th vibration. It's the denominator of the fraction given.
Okay.
So here I broke this out to show you why this happens. If I get specific about the distance between the sun and the moon, it's 46 degrees, 38 minutes, and 31 seconds. Because 31 seconds is over half, it's going to say on the chart wheel 46 degrees and 39 minutes. But it's really barely over half. 30 seconds would be half. 31 seconds is just a smidgen over. So now, these are the aspects listed in the harmonic aspect grid. You see 1/8, 3/20 thirds, 4/31. See here, 1/8, 3/21, 4/31, 7/54. Okay, so I just did a full calculation of these first ones. Remember, the orb is determined by taking 16 and dividing it by the vibration. So this first one is easy. 16 divided by 8 is 2. 1/8 is 45 degrees. So the orb is going to be 2 degrees less than 1/8 and 2 degrees more. The orb is from 43 degrees to 47 degrees. Now notice that where Pope Francis's sun-moon position fits in this orb, it's way up there toward the top, isn't it? It's not very far from 47.
Right.
That's why it says it's 18% of exact. It's way away from the exact position of the aspect, but it's still in orb of a semi-square. You'll see the same thing in these others. These are the only ones I broke out the orb for. But look at 48 degrees, 38 minutes, and 31 seconds. The orbs are underlined. So see this, you can see 46, 38 is kind of in the middle there. 46, 57, 23 is the exact aspect. Well, 46, 38 is kind of close to that. This isn't a real big vibration, so you have an orb here between the end of 45 to the beginning of 47. It's 55% of exact. Whoops. 4/31, same thing. 46 degrees, 38 minutes fits in the middle of that. 46 degrees, 38 minutes fits in the orb of 7/54. And again here, look at 46/32 to 46/57. Well, 46/38 is in between those two. Again, and each time the calculation shows how exact this is. I'll show that calculation in more detail a bit later. Okay, now there's 17 more of these aspects. All I did for the rest of these is just show you what the exact aspect would be that the sun-moon vibration is relating to. See, there's quite a few of these.
Yeah.
This means that the sun and the moon in each of these vibrations is going to be conjunct. Now, it'd be more tightly conjunct when the percentage of exact is higher.
Right.
But in 85, in 100, in 116, 131, this lists where the sun and moon are conjunct related to the natal chart. This is because my harmonic aspect grid was set to show the first 360 vibrations. It shows you every place where the sun and moon are conjunct in the first 360 degrees. Notice that some of them are very, very weak. Like, look at this 13/100, 1%. That means it's barely within orb. Then you've got 25/193, which means vibration 193 is pretty exact. You're going to have a fairly tight conjunction there. It's 88% of exact. Okay, but this is only part of them. Here's the rest of them. Now, as you go down, I've underlined 96 because it is the strongest, the most exact aspect. This is where the sun and moon in the vibration will be closest to each other. It's 96% of exact. I underlined this one just because it was the last one. It's also fairly strong. Okay. So any thoughts on this before I go on to 247, Starlene?
I guess in terms of asking you something, the only thing that I'm curious about is just really what 247 looks like and what 247 means. Yeah.
247.
Yeah, wow, okay.
The tightest sun-moon conjunction in the first 360 vibrations. And if there was not an aspect to it so that it formed a triplet, then we would know that it is not as influential. It would still be an internal feeling that Pope Francis has, because this is a sun-moon after all. But it would not be expressed in behavior so much. But it is in aspect. You can see that sun-moon, first of all, it's only 34 minutes. Remember, we allow 16 degrees for conjunctions. So 34 minutes is a really small amount. This about 34 minutes is what you will see between the two planets when you have it in 96% of exact.
And that it's across from Neptune is amazing, because it brings that idealism that Pope Francis has in.
Right.
Right. It's so cool. This is awesome.
It brings idealism, also that sense to be looking for something magical, something that's bigger than life, something that's out of this world. I mean,
yeah. in the emotions and in the daily life, with the sun and the moon. So I really can see that. It's really interesting that he has this in him as well. I'm excited to see the rest of the charts.
Yeah. So now I want you to first, before we talk about the exact meaning of it, I want to show you how this works a little more. Okay. 32 over 247 is 36 degrees, 38 minutes, and 23 seconds. The orb is from 34 minutes and 30 seconds to 42 minutes and 16 seconds. Now, his is right in the middle of that, 38 degrees and 31 seconds, which is very close to the exact aspect of 38 minutes and 23 seconds. Here's 38 minutes 31, 38 minutes 23. That's just 8 minutes. 8 seconds, excuse me. Okay, I put the wrong little mark here. This should be a double bar, which means seconds. So This is 38 minutes, 23 seconds. This is 38 minutes, 31 seconds. 8 seconds from being exact.
Wow.
So the orb is, remember that for the orb, you take the 16 for the conjunction in the natal chart, you divide it by the vibration. So that means that the orb for 247 is 3 minutes and 53 seconds, which if I convert that to seconds so we can compare it with the exact position, it's 3 times 60 plus 53, which is 2. Actually, that's 233 seconds, not 223. Okay, so he covers not 215 seconds, but 225 seconds of the orb. So 225 over 233, correcting the numbers, is 96% of the orb. The closest conjunction of sun to moon is Vibe 247, which is 19 times 13. Isn't this amazing, Starlee?
It really is.
This vibe is about evaluating the patterns you're dealing with, seeking to formulate a new pattern that recognizes the unique treasure each person is. And let me tell you, this is what Pope Francis's life, I think, is about.
I definitely agree with that. I think he is one to embrace the tradition, but also to make it his own. I think that's it, the new patterns. So very good. And he does that through his vision moving forward.
Exactly. The sun, moon opposes Neptune. So this is the emotional ideal and vision that Pope Francis operates from. I think this is just amazing. But remember, it all comes from the natal chart.
It does, yep.
Each vibration is a set of relationships within the natal chart. The vibration focuses on the part of the natal chart carrying the energy of the given vibration. Each vibration is also the foundation for a series of charts that derive from it.
That's important to remember too, because the vibration charts are not anything but a magnified vision of the natal chart, just a magnified version of it, and that's it.
Right.
Yep.
A vibrational family. What do we mean by that? A vibrational family uses one vibration as a base. One of the vibrations is the base and builds off of it the same way you build off of the natal chart. In the natal chart, you go 1 times 2, 1 times 3, 1 times 4, 1 times 5. That's how you get the vibrational family off of vibration 1 or the natal chart. Now, if the base vibration for the family is 7, we use the angular distance of each pair of planets in the 7th vibration. And then we go 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21. Now, here's the aspects in the vibration. Okay, these show some of the family. For the conjunctions in vibration 7 are vibration 7 in the natal chart. They're going to be 1 7th, 2 7ths, or 3 7ths, or conjunctions that are really tight. Oppositions that's the 2. So they, in the natal chart at 7 times 2, they will be 14ths. 1 14th, 3 14ths, 5 14ths. The trine's 3. So the trine is 7 times 3, it's 21. These are the first 3 members of the 7 family, 7, 14, 21. In the family, you count by 7s. All right, squares are 28 in the natal chart. Sextiles are 42, 7 times 6 in the natal chart. Each aspect now has to be related to the 7th vibration. This is when you're in
the family of vibrations continues to go on forever. When you really, yeah, it really does.
You know, and one of them, go on, Sterling, I'm sorry.
It's interesting too, one of the things that to point out here is when you start learning vibrations and you have 7 times 2, for example, that is 14. So you would look at the 7th vibration and the 2nd vibration, not necessarily the charts. You can look at the energy of both of those charts. The 7th vibration being that inner stillness, that inner wiring, that not so much wiring, but the inner exploration, and the 2 is about sharing. So that can lead you into thought, maybe not necessarily the exact thought of what 14 is, but if you put the 2 together, they often do lead you into that thought. There's obviously been research done on these lower vibrations, so we do have definitions for them, but we are obviously exploring more and more as we go on. But that does give us a clue as to where to start looking at when we start doing this work. And it's helpful to know that. So when you learn the lower vibrations, it's almost like at first it can be overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, how do you remember all these numbers? But when you start learning the lower ones, you can piece them together and make associations to understand the higher ones in that way.
You can get a lot of them. And one of the important distinctions to make here is between vibration 2, 7 times 2, and vibration 4, which would be 14, and vibration 7 times 6, which would be 42.
Right.
Because the 7 times 2 is your inner patterns. You start comparing them with the world, interacting them with the world. So you're looking at what the world's doing in relation to what you're experiencing inside of you. It's that interaction. When you get to 7 times 6, you've got the flow of 6 is 3 times 2. So you've got the flow of 3 and the interaction of 2. And so 7 times 6 brings you the process of taking your inner patterns and actually sharing them in harmonious interactions with others.
Right. And it gives you another layer to look at. And like I said, it's not always exactly straightforward like that, but in the unfolding of learning the vibrations, we have discovered that to be, that's the way it flows. And as you see it from a bigger perspective, you can see how everything flows together in that way. So it's pretty beautiful and amazing when you look at it.
This we've really basically talked about this, the vibrational family layers, what you're doing relative to the natal chart is counting by 7s. These are the layers of 7 of the 7 family, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, etc. And this continues through all the integers. One of the miracles here is the paradox of infinity. The natal chart has an infinite number of family members because you can keep counting 1, 2, 3 forever, can't you?
Right.
Well, when you get to the 7th vibration, it's just one piece of the natal chart, but it's got just as many.
Yeah. Wow. I never thought of that before, but thanks for that.
Just think about that. Isn't that mind-blowing?
It is. It's kind of like, whoa.
This is a paradox of life where when we get into the infinite, things just get different. Okay.
Yes.
The additional aspects. In the same way that there are many aspects that are not shown in the natal chart, there are also many aspects that are not shown in a vibrational chart. Each pair of planets can have up to around 20 aspects for its angular distance in the vibrational chart, just like in the natal chart. These aspects will all be in that vibrational family. Okay, so natal chart aspects. Okay, we already really did this. And these are just a listing of the aspects, the vibration that we see in every chart, including the additional ones like the semi-square and quincunx. But there are a lot of additional relationships within a vibrational chart that we do not show aspect lines for, just like in a natal chart. Okay, now the new stuff. These are new ideas that have not been researched. They're being presented so we can try them out. All of us can. You all give me feedback on what you find and give Starlene feedback on it. See if they make sense in the charts we are studying, in our own charts and in the charts we're studying. Are you ready for this, Starlene?
Ready.
Okay. Is this meaningful? Well, theoretically and intuitively, there seem to be connections between vibrations when two planets are at the same zodiac position. I'm proposing that two planets in two vibrations are impacting each other when they have the same degree position. For now, let's only allow an orb of 20 minutes for this relationship. Okay, so you sometimes see planets at different vibrations that are exactly the same point in the zodiac. When two planets are at the same position in different vibrations, and the waves of the two planets are meeting at that point. This means the two wave patterns are intersecting at that point. The theory. This is why this makes sense in theory. Now, here's the catch. Everything that makes sense in theory doesn't actually happen between people, between charts. So we still have to research this. One of the first kinds of research is just to look at a bunch of charts and see if it makes sense in the chart you're working with. That does not establish that it actually works. We have to do impersonal research with charts that have not been selected before we've got a test that we know we can rely on. But here's the theory. Now, the blue curving line at the top is the natal chart pattern for a planet that is at 0 Gemini. The yellow pattern, this is 2 vibrations, see the double curve, is for a planet in the second vibration that's at 0 of Gemini. This 3-line wave, 3-curve wave, is for the orange one is for a planet that's in the third vibration that is at 0 of Gemini. It makes sense theoretically that when a planet occupies the same position in different vibrations, that each of the planets involved is receiving the energy of the other planet in the vibration that other planet is operating in. The vibrations are woven together at that point.
Yeah. I like that vibrational weaving. That's where you came up with that, right?
Yeah. That's what it feels like. I mean, imagine a garment, and these are the points where one thread interacts with another and forms this beautiful picture.
Right. Oh, that's a great analogy of it. I love that.
Okay, so here's a couple of illustrations. This is from Pope Francis's chart. He's the person we're picking on for this, but he's somebody people know well enough. They know his spiritual sense of things. And so I feel like he's somebody that people can relate to some extent. Okay, so we're looking at his 3rd and 9th vibration here. And you can see here that the 3rd is the inner wheel, the 9th is the outer wheel. Here it is blown up. His Mars in the 3rd vibration is at 28 of Scorpio 32. His Saturn in the 9th vibration is at 28 of Scorpio 33.
So his Mars in the in the third vibration has a Saturnian energy, and vice versa too, right?
That's
It
right.
can go
But
both
not
ways,
just
right?
a Saturnian energy, a ninth vibration Saturnian energy.
Right, a ninth vibration Saturnian energy. Okay, so yeah, that interesting. And then of course it's a third vibe Mars, so that's very interesting. You know, feeling that. Okay.
Yeah, just the third vibe Mars would mean would be related to his Mars energy flowing smoothly. His going out there interacting with the world. Well, not so much interacting with the world as interacting inside of himself with the third vibration. His Mars energy is going to flow smoothly. Related to his Saturn in 9. Now, this isn't about aspects or things. This is just about the way Mars is influenced by Saturn and Saturn is influenced by Mars. If you go back here, well, we don't have the aspects either. To get the full sense of this, we would have to look at what are the aspects to Mars in the third vibrations and what are the aspects to Saturn in the 9. But I'm only focusing right now on the interaction between the planets. So that smooth flowing Mars in his third vibration, in his internal energy flow, has a Saturn on it, a sense of responsibility, and it's from 9, responsibility for the community.
Yes.
So a sense of what is really important and essential in the community. That's the kind of things he wants to do with his Mars. Now, this works the other way too. His Saturn in 9 is energized by Mars in 3. So his sense of responsibility for the community just flows out from him in this natural way. Like I said, it's much enhanced if he's got aspects to them in the vibrations. But here's an attempt to explain this. The smooth flow of his actions out in the world will be community-oriented, that's a 9, seeking to build patterns of truth and meaning, that's a Saturn, in the community, 9, that lasts past his death, Saturn.
Very cool.
And that's what he does.
I just had a thought, Linda, and I hadn't had this thought prior. I do know that we would look at a pattern in the third with Mars in it, like a circuit, right? And Saturn would obviously, what we're hypothesizing here, Saturn would be influencing that. Now, what I wonder is if there is 2 planets that are connected in the third, that the Saturn in the 9th would make that circuit. I wonder if it works like that.
Because Saturn's so much on Mars, I mean, you can't have a circuit in 3 that doesn't include Mars.
Right.
Saturn's 1 minute from it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
The likelihood that you would be right at the edge of an aspect, and it'd be so weak if that were true. Where you would have Saturn influencing something and Mars not. I'd be real hesitant to think that might be happening, even when there's a little more orb. But anyway, it's an interesting thought. It really is.
Yeah.
It's important we talk about things like that. Okay, here's one more example. We're dealing with 9, and we're dealing with things around 9, folks. So here's 9. Here's the Mars in 9. Look at this. It's the same relationship. It's 3 to 9. Okay, 3 to 9. Mars to Saturn. 9 to 27. That's the same. Saturn is 3 times Mars. This relationship holds true when you multiply things. That reinforces the fact that it's real. So 9 to 27. What do we have here? His Mars in 9. Here's the blow up of it. His Mars in 9 is on his Saturn in 27. Again, Mars has a Saturn quality to it. The accomplishments he strives for in community, Mars in vibration 9, will be based on a deep need for peace and respect for others expressed in a caring, loving way That's Saturn in 27.
Wow.
Doesn't this just radiate from Pope Francis?
It does. And it's so interesting. And I know we looked at this, but it's so interesting how it just keeps going through the vibrations and the family of vibrations, because obviously 9 is in 27 is in the family of the vibration of 9 and 3. So it's very interesting. And I know we went out looking further, and depending on the orb, it just depends on the orb of how far it goes out.
But look at how tight this is still. This is still 1 minute. So this is going to go out forever. That
it's going to go out a long time.
You take the Mars position in these threes. Now, this is just in the 3 family, folks.
Right.
So Mars in 27 will be connected with Saturn in 81. Mars in 81 will be connected with Saturn in 243. It's going to go up a long way because it's so tight.
Right. It's so cool to see that. So essentially what we're saying is the energy of Mars is going to have that Saturn energy in all of his vibrations, in
the 3 family.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right, in the 9 family vibrations.
Well, actually it's in the 3 family because it starts with 3, with Mars in 3 and Saturn in 9.
So right.
Okay.
So yeah, that makes sense. So essentially he has that Mars and Saturn energy in the 3 vibrations family.
Right. It's like Saturn has a 3 Saturn has a 3 relationship to Mars. See? Mars in 3 times 3 is Saturn in 9. Mars in 9 times 3 is Saturn in 27. There's a flow between the Mars and Saturn, an innate deep flow.
Right. Very cool.
Okay, so now to illustrate this just a little more, this is the last thing we're going to do, is I want to show you what happens in a particular vibration when you consider the interweavings with other vibrations. Now, in this particular situation, when I look at the aspects, I find that the Neptune is not as, it's got strong weavings, but it's not aspected here. So that kind of diminishes the Neptune. I'm going to talk about what it means, but it makes it less powerful. But look at this part. The Sun Saturn is trine the Mars, and the Sun, Saturn, and Venus are conjunct each other. Let me see. Yeah, barely, but they are. All 3 of them are conjunct each other. So these interweavings are especially important. Now, so let me go through these quickly. Okay. First of all, this is the 9 vibration. Remember, the vibration is always fundamental. So we're talking about the community. We're talking about Pope Francis's place in the community. How Pope Francis connects with community. All right? And we know just from the Sun, Saturn, trine the Mars, he works hard. And the Sun, Saturn, Venus, he's looking for a beauty that lasts past death in the community. He wants to bring a beauty that he wants to bring or represent a beauty that lasts past death. Well, this certainly fits him.
Yeah, it does. It certainly fits him.
Okay, so the first one is the Mars to Saturn, needing peace and seeking to achieve a peace that lasts past death. All right, so that's the Mars Saturn here. And now we're going to just consider this Mercury Jupiter for a minute, just to practice the meanings, even though it's not as emphasized, since it doesn't have 2 other planets relating to it. All right, so the Mercury, the Neptune, this is the influence on Neptune here, see? Okay, Mercury and Jupiter. Well, that means this is going to be more an internal inclination because it doesn't have aspects. It's not going to be something you're going to see in general, but you can kind of deduce it that he has a vision that involves the big picture, Mercury and Jupiter. So now what's interesting is the vibrations involved. This is 243. 243 brings a restless seeking from deep within the person, interacting with the mystery, seeking to bring peace. This is a mental process, Mercury, that supports and shapes the visions and dreams of this person. All right, so this is pretty deep inside because we don't have any aspects on it. The Jupiter part is in 99. That's 9 times 11. So there's a dissatisfaction with the community, not expressing the true self. This brings expansion to the ideals held for the community. Okay, so now this triple conjunction over here about universal beauty or the beauty that lasts past death. What additional information do we have here? Okay, this is vibration 162, which is the 18th member of the 9 family. 9 times 18 is 162. So this is again about the flow of energy between people in the community because that's an 18 energy. A daily emotional need for a balanced, harmonious flow of energy between people. All right, this is something he puts into practice. Now, the Saturn Venus, the beauty that lasts past death. Well, this is in 126. Well, this is 9 times 14. So there's a 14 in here. Deep inner work with others that will form a new pattern for community interaction that will last past one's death. Saturn, Venus, the attracted to this deep inner work. That's the Venus providing the attraction here. Okay, and the last one is Venus Neptune, vibe 108, which is 9 times 12 is 108. And this is Venus Neptune, so 12. Attraction, Venus, to the ideal of a deep inner thirst and hunger. That's a 12 for peace. 27. Okay.
That's awesome. I love it.
So that's what we see here. And we have an interweaving of the vibrations with each other. I've looked at my chart. It's amazing and it's very accurate. We've looked at your charts, Darlene. It was pretty accurate for you too, wasn't it?
It sure was. Yeah. It will be interesting to watch this unfold and even looking at it in terms of compatibility as well. That will be a cool way to look
at that in a later video. Compatibility is interesting with this. Okay.
Right. It is.
At this point, yes, I'm putting it in Frequency Finder, and I have the capability to provide reports for a particular person at this point, but it's going to be a while before Frequency Finder comes out. But you can just look at the vibrations and compare them to each other. Take whichever vibration you're interested in and put it up against the others and see where there are overlaps. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe we should provide a report, Starlene. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But I think it's an interesting way to explore, and obviously more work needs to be done to figure out if it works in all of the charts. And
Right.
That's a good start. So thank you for that, Linda. We really appreciate it.
Okay, so folks, until next time, happy
All right.
exploring.
Yes, happy exploring. Bye.
Bye now.